From time to time, Jacques, you've made use of Heidegger's distinction between revelation and revealability, Offenbarung, Offenbarkeit. As usually received, the distinction asks us to think about the relative priority of revelation and revealability. Does revelation precede revealability, making conditions of manifestation apparent only after the fact, or are conditions of revealability in place before revelation occurs? I'd like to invite you to reflect on the distinction. Is it a clear alternative, or should it be understood, as you hint now and again, as an aporia? You suggested in Politics of Friendship that rethinking the alternative by way of iterability might, and I quote from you, might at least give access to a structure of experience in which the two poles of the alternative cease to oppose one another to form another node, another logic, another chronology, another history, another relation to the order of orders. And I'd like to ask you if you could say a little more about this other structure of experience.
Thank you. In fact, what I could say would simply go along with what you just suggested. It's an aporia, and as you know, the aporia for me doesn't mean simply a paralysis, a no way. It's on the contrary, the condition of proceeding, of making a decision, of going forward. The aporia is not simply a negative stop. Now, for the ones who here are not familiar with the distinction between Offenbarung and Offenbarkeit that Kevin just mentioned, I would simply summarize the meaning of this distinction, which comes from Heidegger. Heidegger says the Offenbarung, that is revelation, implies, it's not logical nor chronological, it implies that some revealability, some Offenbarkeit was already there. It already has no chronological meaning. For some revelation to take place, Dasein, the human existence, must be able to open itself to revelation. And this revealability is, let's say, ontologically, not chronologically, not logically, ontologically prior to Offenbarung, to revelation. So if you want to think the religious revelation, you have first to go backwards, so to speak, to the possibility of religion, to the possibility of revelation. So the question is this the proper order? First, I mean, in a non-chronological, no logical sense, first revealability and then revelation, or is it more complicated than that? And my trouble with Heidegger's very strong, very rigorous argument, my trouble with it had to do with the possibility that revelation is not simply something which comes in to confirm and to fulfill a revealability. Revelation is something which reveals revealability. It's something, some event. Revelation is always an event. Some event which, in fact, breaks something so that revealability, Offenbarkeit, is open. Revealability is opened by revelation. That's the other way around. But I was not satisfied by this opposite order either. So I would try to think the relation between the two in a different way. And I don't know what way. I must confess that the logical order, the chronological order, even the ontological order is not appropriate. So I'm trying to think something which removes the event that one calls revelation, removes it from the scheme of veil, revelation, revelability. In a way, because if you think of the event as something else than the unveiling of a truth or the revelation of a truth, but as something else, something which affects with no reference to light, no reference to vision, no reference to unveiling, which affects the existence, not only human existence, but God's existence. Because what I didn't say to Jack a moment ago is that the weakness, the powerlessness of God is, first of all, simply the possibility for God to be affected. To be affected by an event, something which happens to God, implies some vulnerability. The absolute power, the omnipotence of someone is also the total insensitivity, total impassibility to the event. Nothing can happen to absolute power, to the sovereign. Nothing can happen. For something to happen to God, God must be exposed, must be limited in a certain way, even finite in its infinity. So the event must affect not only human existence, but God. This can be translated into Christian terms. The passion, the crucifixion, happened to God in a certain way. It happened to God. It happened to God. So this event remains unpredictable, as every event should be. One cannot see it coming. If God could simply predict, and as in providence, they could see the passion coming or see the event coming, there would be no event. The event must be totally unpredictable even to God. In that case, if we think of the event as something which cannot be anticipated, with no horizon, with no background, usually one thinks that there is a, phenomenologically or ontologically, that there is always a background, a horizon, against which one sees the event coming. To that extent, there is no event. If one sees the event coming, it's not an event. If one sees it, it's not an event. So the revelation or revelability is the neutralization of the event. So one has to think of an event which affects every living being, human, animals, and God, without any essential revelation or essential revelability. And to that extent, the couple of concepts, Offenbarung and Offenbarkeit, remains not useless but secondary in order to think what the event is. And of course, in the Offenbarung, we imply that something happened, at least, whereas in the Offenbarkeit, nothing happened. Okay? So if one starts with the attempt to think the eventness of the event, then we don't need this couple of concepts. And we are more, let's say, ready to think or to expose ourselves to what happens in this event, especially in the ones we are dealing with now.